hear myself through my headphones. Yes, man. Like, I feel real good about this right now.
Pay attention, because you are now listening to Permission to Speak Freely.
Yo, I am sick. I know, like, it could be heard in my to the job. Like, I know y'all can hear this, man. You know what I'm saying? I am sick. But I don't even know what this is. This could be by the way, this could be an episode. I don't even know how long we're going to be here, but something did like kind of come my way, on social media, and I wanted to share it. It's a text exchange between a young sailor and their chief. And for the sake of this text, so I'm sure the chief is a man. But for the sake of this text exchange, I'll play the sailor. Tisha play the chief. All right. So here it is. I'm about to start right now. Good morning, chief. Well, let me go back real quick. This was like a screenshot from somebody's phone, like real shit like this happened. Right. All right. Good morning, chief. Is it okay if I take a sick day? I'm not sick, but my daughter is, and I've been up all night with her. Haven't been able to sleep yet.
No, it's not. If you want a sick day, you need to go to medical and get an SIQ check.
Okay, so how do I get I haven't been asleep yet due to my daughter coughing and throwing up all night then?
That's not a thing. You man up and handle business. You made the choice not to sleep. Now you have to deal with the consequences of your choices.
Haha, wow. Next time I tell my 3-year-old daughter to fuck off and take care of herself when she wants her dad to take care of her, chief.
Before you start judging me, I've been in your exact shoes before. I'm a father. I have 2 kids. Was your wife home? Does she have a job to go to this morning? You made the choice to stay up instead of letting your wife handle it. GM1, no one is telling you to tell your kid to fuck off. I'm telling you that you're going to be tired all day. And that's the life of a dad.
My wife was taking care of our 4-month-old who is also sick, teething. Just because my wife doesn't work doesn't mean she needs to have everything regarding home stuff on her lap. What's her sleep and mental health? You saying you made the choice is very much so saying to tell them to fuck off. It's all right, chief. Don't worry. I'll be at work. All right.
Yes, you will. The end.
So,
end scene.
Yeah. Hey, so look, disclaimer, precursor, whatever y'all want to say. This is a serious topic. There's some serious stuff we're going to talk about, but we're going to have some fun as well. If y'all hate my sick voice, I am sorry. I hate it too. You know what I'm saying? But we're going to have fun and we're going to be serious in this. The first thing I want to do is more fun. Right. Mm-hmm. So I want to do a text by text. I want to do a text by text breakdown of this text exchange. And I want to kind of go and analyze where things could have been done differently. Mm-hmm. So the first text message from the sailor to the chief, it says, "Good morning, chief. Is it okay? So good morning, chief. The C in chief ain't capitalized." Right?
Oh my God.
Yo, come on, man. Capitalize that C, man.
ATD.
Capitalize that C.
ATD.
You need to capitalize it. It says, "Is it okay if I take a sick day?" Comma, no question mark, just a comma. I'm not sick, but my daughter is, and I've been up all night with her. Haven't been able to sleep yet. Do you think, what you think about that text message?
I think that it's a reasonable ask. Honestly, I think it's reasonable to ask something like that. Whether you get it or not, that's another thing. But I mean, I think it's reasonable to ask like, "Hey, this is what's going on. Can I take a sick day?" But yeah, this is one of those sticky situations. What were you about to say?
I was just going to say, I think when you start asking for shit that you know is not
the standard,
the thing that you're asking for, you start putting people into positions that they don't want to be in off rip.
Right.
Right. And we're going to talk about this in a lot of different ways because, again, I don't think it's that seller. Like I'll precursor this. That seller wouldn't have been at work if they work with me or whatever like that. But we only looking at a snapshot. So we got to get in all that. But just in this question right here, is it okay if I take a sick day? You're not sick, dog. Right. You know what I mean?
You can't take a sick day.
No, you can't take a sick day. You could do something else, but don't like you asking me is okay if you take a sick day is like, that's the wrong ask.
Right.
In my opinion, that's the wrong
Can
ask.
I take leave?
Yeah. Or start with the issue. Mm-hmm. Yo, my daughter been up all night sick. My wife, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I
lay out everything.
Yeah, I try my best to lay out everything. So like people, I notice a lot of times when I'm dealing with like sellers, you got to peel shit back and to find out everything. It's like, yo, why was you there? Well, because this happened and this. I ain't been getting good sleep in the last 2 months because my grandma's sick and this. I'm like, damn.
Right.
All I was about to do was write you up for being late.
Right.
Now I know you going through trauma and all this stuff or whatever. So I would have laid out everything first. And then I would have kind of put the ball in, chief court.
Like, what's the options?
Yeah. Like, what can I do? If I, don't feel safe to drive and every other thing, you know what I mean? Not immediately go to like, yo, let's spin this sick day narrative to something else. Right.
Right.
So chief responds, no, it's not. Right. What you think about that, Tish?
He's immediately annoyed. First thing in the morning. He ain't had his coffee yet. He probably ain't even left home yet. Like, these are text messages you get before you even leave home to go to work. And it's like, okay, here we go already with the I can't do this and I can't do that before 7:30.
Chief ain't for the bullshit, man. Chief said, and then Chief is a double texter. Chief wanted them like, yo, I ain't get it all off. I'm right back at you. Chief said, if you want a sick day, if you, like with the quotes, man, you go to medical and get an SIQ check.
That's the policy.
Yeah, that's Chief separating himself from the bullshit that you asking for and going straight with, real policy, like you said, real instruction, real protocol type stuff. So you asked Chief to do something wrong. Chief responded with not a lot of words. He
didn't even give any additional, what I can do, like none of that. Yeah. He wasn't here for it.
I probably would have called if I was the chief, because that's just me. I probably would have called like, yo, what's going on? Like, boom, and got some more information. Chief sounded like Chief wasn't for the bullshit. Yeah. But it's also a whole part of this story that we don't know that happens before the text message, and a part of the story that we don't know that happens after the text message. And we're going to get into all of that. So the seller then says, okay, so how do I get I haven't been asleep yet due to my daughter coughing and throwing up all night day. And so now I'll go first on this one. First off, that's probably, in my opinion, that's the first thing you should have asked for. But now when you're asking for it, it's like, now you're a little spicy. Play hardball.
Now you're a little spicy with it.
Yeah, you're your thing, man. And so Chief comes back. That's not a thing. Right, Chief. You man up and handle business. You made the choice not to sleep. Now you have to deal with the consequences of your choice. What you think about that, Tisha?
I think the previous text message from the sailor, like, he was already like annoyed. After that, I haven't been to sleep yet due to my daughter coughing and throwing up all night day. He was not here for it, like, at all at that. Any kind of grace that he was gonna give, when he responded like that, then I think all bets were off the table. I think he was less than willing to work with them at that point. And I think that's why he went from 2 to 10 a little bit.
The chief?
The chief, yeah. Like from his previous text message, he was like annoyed. But then after the smart comeback, it was like, all right, I'm not, you about to fuck around and find out.
Yeah. So man up is like fighting words.
Yes.
Kinda like, yo, don't tell me man to man up.
Right.
You man up. He said man up and handle business. Like handle business. That means you want me to man up and get behind my car with 0 hours of sleep. It made me crash. And, you know, say I was out there handling my business, my guy. Like, that's what you would do.
Right.
You man up and handle business. You made a choice not to sleep. Not like you were being a good parent,
right.
like you was taking your kid, like you was taking your kid is sick.
He said,
like it's your choice.
Fuck them kids is what he said.
You should have said, fuck them kids and took your ass to sleep. You know, you'd have been able to come to work and get this maintenance done.
Right. Tell your wife, woman, you gonna stay up with these damn kids.
What is called? Colic? What is called? Like
colic,
what's the sickness? Yeah, who cares that your daughter got colic, man? We need you here tomorrow morning. We said we were doing a department call. In the morning, you supposed to fucking be here.
Right.
Or whatever like that. Again, it's a lot of stuff we don't know. Like that's not a thing is okay. You man up and handle business to me is where I believe to the seller, it would start to read personal. But like you said, to the chief, it starts to read personal with the smart ass text from the last text message, right? So you made a choice not to sleep. Now you have to do, you know, that's all that stuff that they hate a lot of chiefs for anyway. Mm-hmm. Now it's like you trying to tell somebody how to live their life type stuff. And then the seller's response is, ha ha, wow, right? And I took this, you know, this meant a lot to me because a lot of people don't spell out how ha no more.
Right, they do LOL.
So to take the time
or
to
the
spell
emoji.
out ha-ha. Yeah, to take the time to spell out ha ha mean you know the gloves off. You ain't really playing no more,
right.
which is cheap.
Right.
I'm about to spell ha ha out on your ass, and then to hit them with the wow. You know, like
wow.
this just this my response to the bullshit I just read. So then he says, the glove's really off already now, so we know profanity, everything coming out. Next time, I'll tell my 3-year-old daughter to fuck off, and he put that shit in quotation marks, and take care of herself when she wants her dad to take care of her, chief. And he capitalized chief. So his grammar, he's so mad.
His grammar got better.
His grammar get better in this joint. Like, all right, you know, fuck off and take care of herself when she wants her dad to take care of her, chief. And there go, chief. Before you start judging me, I've been in your exact shoes before. I'm a father. I have 2 kids. What you think about that?
I think that's a lot of leaders, a lot of time will take that, I've done it before and this is, you know, I didn't get to do this, so you shouldn't have to. Also, like, I've had kids that were sick. I wasn't able to take off, so I'm not going to let you take off either. And that's what that's screaming. And just because that's how it happened to you, that doesn't make it right. The whole back in my day type. Mm-hmm. That's what it feels like.
Yeah. And we think that connects us, and it doesn't.
It doesn't.
Like they not connected to that.
Yeah.
You know, I said it a million times on here. I had my first class. It's like, yo, you always say when I was a first, like, yo, that's not it. You know? And it's condescending. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's like condescending. And I believe that. You know, I believe it's condescending too now.
Right.
I know what the intentions are. Again, I know what the intentions are to kind of bring this to a level place.
Right. But
again, you're not me, I'm not you. Like, come on, stop doing a comparison. Then Chief asks, you know, like we said, Chief the double text. Chief double text like, yo, I didn't get all of that. I didn't get it all. The only thing that I wonder is like the time between text messages for when they each double text.
Right.
Because he did a double text. He said the haha wow. He had to take a minute off to kind of fume for a second before he did the next time. Chief just did it. So Chief said that before you start judging me, I've been in your exact shoes before. I'm a father. I have 2 kids. I'm assuming Chief took like a minute off, probably was at the drive-through McDonald's. He probably got his coffee, you know, that he right back before he drove off. Was your wife home? Does she have a job to go to this morning? Right? So that tells us Chief already knows she ain't got no job. Yep. Chief already knows she ain't got a job. You know what I'm saying? So he said, then the fact that the Apple phone just underlines the this morning on its own.
Apple ain't shit.
Yeah, it just highlights it. This morning, you made the choice to stay up instead of letting your wife handle it.
GM1, comma.
GM1. No one is telling you, now they like trying to, like, now Chief, like, all right, let me bring it. Like, no one is telling you to tell your kid, fuck off. And I can imagine Chief out of breath if Chief was like saying it, like why do I even got to say
right?
Shit? I'm telling you that you're going to be tired all day, and that's the life of a dad. What you think about that?
I get where he's coming from. There are days when we are tired and we have to push through. But he's more so considering the mission or just the sailor being at work versus the sailor's safety. Like, what if he was to get into an accident, fall asleep at the wheel on his way to work? Like, he would have to live with these words in his text message right here.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So it's like, even if he said, not you can't get a full day, but like a late start. If you're acknowledging that he's tired and that he's going to be tired, like, just give him like 2 hours or something. Like, hey, you get a 2-hour late start, or come in at lunch, come in at 12 or something like that. But the fact that he hasn't gone to sleep and you're going to force him to come in, and he probably gonna come in and do nothing. Like, you won't have shit for him to do.
Yeah.
Probably ain't no inspections going on. Yeah. Nah, you just want him there in the office, in that seat, or in the shop just because.
Yeah. He about to be trash from the last words in his next text. I'll be at work, all right. That's so his next text, and we're gonna get into it because telling somebody that they're gonna be tired all day because that's the life of a dad. I've never been a father, but I don't think that's far-fetched. You know what I'm saying? But I also believe that if you could do something to help in this moment in time,
right,
then do it. But we haven't gotten into yet, like, yo, is this GM1's first time asking this shit? What type, what's going on? Because I do want to talk about that. So the last text message is, my wife was taking care of our 4-month-old who was also sick. He put what's going on. Teething. You got kids. You got kids. You know what's going on. Just because my wife doesn't work doesn't mean she needs to have everything regarding home stuff on her lap. Where's her sleep and mental health? You saying you made the choice, he ain't never take the quote away. It's very much so saying, tell them to fuck off. It's all right, Chief. Don't worry. I'll be at work. All right. What'd you think about that?
It's the last, all right. I'll be at work. All right. What does that mean? That's like a ...
Yo, but Chief hit him right back.
Yes, you will.
Yes, you will. Yes, you will.
Chief want all the smoke. The smoke. Because he said,
Chief waiting.
Right. He said, I'll be at work. All right. He came in probably ready, and the Chief was right there with his coffee mug. Like,
yep. And he lighting Chief ass up from breakfast to the birthing to the whole shop. Right. By the time he get in the damn shop or wherever, the workspace, he done lit Chief up to 45 people on the ship already. Right. Everybody know how you feel about Chief.
I'm like, I'm gonna go in there. I'm gonna say this. I'm about to go tell him this and that. But the fact that he put this text message out, he probably ain't said shit.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Let the Navy talk about it. So this was on Decelerate Your Life, right? This was on that's where we saw this at, was Decelerate Your Life. But I do want to talk about some things that like we haven't talked about. So me seeing this post on Decelerate Your Life is a Facebook group. people were upset in the uproar and, stuff like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people were pissed off. Maybe some people were chiefs and some people were junior sellers and stuff like that. But one of the things that I do want to talk about in this text that none of us know, and maybe some people don't even care about, the backstory on this.
Mm-hmm.
This doesn't read to me like one of exchange. Like it
Right.
reads like Chief was ready for some bullshit that morning, right? And I'm not going. Chief ain't about to get all the love, and GM1 ain't about to get all the love either,
Mm-hmm.
and they both ain't about to get all the hate. But from my perspective, this is one, and I don't know. You tell me, Tish. But is this one of those scenarios where it's like I need to know more?
Yes. Because me personally, I've been in a situation like this before, and mine had a little bit of an escalation to it. And it was because of my previous dealings with this particular sailor. So by the time that last thing happened, and it was just like the initial ask, I was already annoyed just by the fact that she was just asking me. Like, the fact that you even coming out of your mouth asking me this, like, I'm annoyed already. But had it been anyone else, I wouldn't have been. It was just like the track record that sailor had already set for me. So I believe in this situation, I think there could be a backstory. It would be interesting.
Yeah.
And on a lot of these pages, there's probably other text messages. Like, scroll back. Back some more. Let me see those text messages the days prior, and let me see those because that might actually tell a story. And now, and maybe there isn't. Maybe that chief is just an asshole, and he's an equal opportunity asshole. He's just an asshole across the board to everybody. But yeah, it would be interesting to know the backstory. There's always a backstory, I feel.
Yeah, this is I feel like this is a snapshot of a whole chief seller relationship that we only seeing from the vantage point that the person who took the screenshot wants us to see from.
Right.
Not saying that it's a good one, still, but we just seeing it from one thing. And I would like to know more. Like, hey, GM1, is this not the first time? Chief, he got to tell at the tape. He know wifey ain't working. He know all of this stuff. And Chief could be at the end of his wits with, just dealing with GM1 asking for time off or things like this. Hell, he could have asked for this SIQ before.
Right.
And Chief could have done it, and he might be tired of doing this shit. Who knows? Now, on top of all this, as I said already, that seller wouldn't have been at work.
Right.
But even like for me now, I'm the person that, all right, I'm going to give you what you want. We was talking about this. We did a little thing yesterday on a pod. Even as a junior seller, I was the type of person, I'm going to give you what you want. But after I give you what you want, I got some things to say to follow it up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to give you what you want first. So, all right. Yeah, take, and it probably would have been, depending on what we had going on, go to sleep, come in whenever you wake up, or, call whenever you wake up, see if we still working, or just take the day.
Right.
I think a chief has power to give their seller a day off.
Right.
If you don't,
depending on what day it is.
Yeah.
If it's a Monday,
ain't nothing going on.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's funny because in my situation, it was one of those where we were coming off of a long weekend, and it was like, okay, your kid is sick. You give 10% work effort and you leave early every day because of childcare issues that we had discussed the previous week. Like, hey, like, why is everybody who had their baby after you able to get into the CDC and you still
on that wait list?
You still on the wait list, and your childcare facility is not adequate because you have to leave early every day to go pick up your kid. And it was, I took my kid off the wait list.
Yeah.
What you mean you took your kid off a goddamn wait list?
Yeah, right.
And so like we had just had that conversation the week before. And then in the same conversation, she's talking about she want to go to school, college at night. Like you can't even handle your childcare during the daytime. And you talking about childcare at night? Like what?
Right,
and then the following Monday, it's my kid is sick. In my situation, though, I gave options. I said, listen, we're coming off a long weekend. You can't have we can't give you a day of liberty according to the policy. However, go to medical, take your baby to medical, show an appointment or like a slip or something, or take up to the ER or something. You said sick, got a fever, take the baby to the ER. We'll make that your appointed place of duty. Mm-hmm. I don't want to take my baby to the ER.
Right.
And it's just like, okay. Well, then you gonna have to take leave. Well, I ain't got no leave days because I just burned all my leave days.
Yeah, it's always a
right.
No way out response.
And so it was just like, well, then that like these are your options. Well, I'll just bring my baby in then, and it's just like it just got.
Yeah, you're gonna pick the worst. You're gonna bring your sick baby in the work.
Right. So it's just like, I wish a chief had given doable options. But at the same time, it's like maybe there was something leading up to that to where it wasn't really an option. And if it wasn't an option for whatever reason, like you said, call, explain that, get them to understand what the reasoning is. Because, we in this Y generation. And so just like, no, just be here for work like that. That shit just don't really sit well with the younger generation. Like, what do you mean? Excuse me.
Like you ain't even asking what's wrong with the kid.
Right. No like, concern at all.
No type of nothing.
No.
And like, yeah.
So I think it could have been handled a lot different, even for the chief on a professional level. I think he could have shown some compassion. Like there's a way you can show compassion and be an asshole at the same, like, and not really be an asshole, but show compassion. However, enforce a standard all at the same time. Like you can do both. You ain't gotta just be a straight up asshole and just be like, nope, you're going to be here because I fucking said so.
Now, my question is this, and it's more for the young sellers. I want them to, answer. But I know a few chiefs who like been in situations or get into situations like this with sellers who might be a little bit more of a hassle than some of the other sellers. And they give grace, right? And I'm not saying it's all chiefs. I'm not like doing that. I'm talking about the couple that I know that like continually give grace. Mm-hmm. And it's like the one time that they didn't or something, they were the worst chief in the world. Right. Or they was whatever, and I know some people like, how many times do I have to give grace before I give this like natural response? Like, you're making up an excuse. You need to get to work. Mm-hmm. I'm one that's a little bit more for giving grace now. Like I just, all right, whatever. Like, boom, boom, boom. But eventually, like at my command I'm at now, and a few of my sellers, they're not there anymore, but they had like issues with like being late, for like quarters, and it'd be like, we only do quarters once a week on Mondays at 9. You know what I'm saying?
Dang.
And I'm like, yo,
how you late?
Yeah. I'm like, yo, right. What are you late for? We do quarters once a week at 0900. I'm like, almost every other command is doing quarters at 07. Mm-hmm. We do quarters once a week at 9, but then it's like the time that you do finally be like, all right, like enough is enough, it's like a bad experience or whatever, right. Like traumatizing. Like
that's the one that makes the screenshot and that ends up on de-escalate.
Right. Yeah. Like, damn. What about the 40 fucking times that I let you just come in late and didn't say anything?
Right.
So I wonder what I kind of wonder what what's wanted in that exchange. You know what I'm saying? Like I talked to a young seller before. I'm like, what do y'all want? And the seller was like, just correct us the first time, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I don't know if that's really who really what you want.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
So, but like, so like we said, it seemed like it could be a snapshot. Now, before we finish this conversation, I want to talk about the future of this shit, right? So let's say you do it, right? Seller asks for the day, you give the seller the day, right? What happens in the future if the seller need another day or another seller need a day?
Right.
And it's a question, I'm not saying nothing. Do you just continue to do it?
Because, you kind of set a standard, at that point where, okay, my baby is sick.
Yeah.
I need I can't come to work because my kid is sick day. And if I don't get it, then I'm going to be like, oh, well, you gave it to this person, but you're not giving it. Like, I hear Simeo coming.
Right.
You opening yourself up to a lot. And so it's a risk that you have to decide if that's something that you're willing to take. And kind of figuring out like, okay, well, how am I going to deal with this in the future? Because like you said, you let one do it, it's not that you necessarily have to let everyone. I try to go on a case by case basis. It's not like okay, well, because I made this decision this time, this is like the blanket policy. The next person that it happens, it's going to depend on like the op tempo of the office, like what's going on at work. If it's something like real important, if we're short staffed, I may have to like do something a little bit different. That we may have to do some give and take a little bit. But I don't think you're stuck having to make that decision the exact same way every time.
Yeah, because my question would be like, what's the actual from young sellers? Like, what do y'all propose as the actual solution? Like I said, we come on here, we ask more questions than we answer. And my question now is, what's the actual solution moving into the future if we do this now? Let's say she's sick for a while, and I'm up more nights, So, my question would be, what do y'all think should happen in the realm of reality?
Right.
Do you think that the chief should let this seller just have all of those days? Do y'all think that? I'm very interested in knowing that. I remember I used to work at a CD store called Coconuts. I don't know if you're familiar with FYE. The CD store used to be big, but before FYE, if anybody listening from FYE, I got fired from there, not for the greatest of reasons, right? But this ain't about that, right? This about when I was working at Coconuts, I was a assistant manager. So I've been fired twice. So, but I was working at. I'm only saying that because I was on some podcasts. I remember being on a podcast saying I got fired once and never got fired again. Now I got fired twice. Mm-hmm. But I was an assistant manager, and we had this dude start working there, and like his cousin died. Right, so he called. He was like, "Yo, my cousin died. I can't come in." Dada, right? Dada in the Urban Dictionary means. It was a lot more than a story, but that's what it is, right? That's Dada, right? So the next week or something, he was like, "Yo, my uncle died." Dada, right? So
damn.
The next week,
it ain't even funny.
It was like another week. It was like another week. He was like, "Yo, my grandma died." And my boss was an ex-Marine or whatever. Joe, the manager, he was like, "Yo, you're gonna have to fire me." And I'm like, for what? He was like, he keep making up excuses to not work, right? This was the first person that I interviewed, hired. Like I did it all. And this was the first person I ever fired. Mm-hmm. And he came in the back. I was like, "Hey man, let me talk to you, man." I was young, growing up in Philly, like it's different, it's a different approach.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, "Hey man, we unfortunately we can't keep you, man, because you're not like ever here. You're not putting in work." Mm-hmm. He's like, "Well, I got legitimate, He's like, I got legitimate reasons though. You know, my family, like everybody dying or whatever like that. You know, and I'm like, yeah, they dropping like flies, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, you know, I'm like, man, it's too much. Like, yo, you know, you gotta go, bro. Like, we can't keep you, bro. You know, and it really wasn't no hard feelings because he was lying. Like his family wasn't dying. He was bullshit. Like, it was all lies. But it was like, yo, how much of your, you know, family go? And then I heard another story. Somebody was like, they CO would give everybody give everybody a counseling shit. They CO made like it mandatory that everybody that was late got a counseling shit.
Oh wow.
Or whatever. Like people were coming late. Like, you know, but so the CO made it mandatory that everybody was late, got a counseling shit, no matter what the reason was, whether it was a valid reason or invalid, they got counseling shit. And they said that greatly decreased the amount of people that was coming late, you know, and shit like that for like, you know, and eventually the CO, you know, kind of went back, you know, for like the, you know, if you really got a valid reason, but for a while, it's just like, yo, whoever late, boom, they get in trouble, whoever late or whatever. But it fixed that problem or whatever. Cause I think about like what happens when people abuse your grace, like what happens when people just abuse your shit. Right. You know, my man was going to lose his whole family. Right. Yeah, my man at Coconuts, he was going to lose his whole family. You know, I got friends that I know that like have babies that they don't really have. Paperwork. Right. Yeah. Yep. And especially nowadays when people want to do the bare minimum, like they want to put minimum effort, but get maximum results and maximum accolades. And I want time off and I want you to bend to my every whim. And it's like, just yesterday, I just asked you one thing and you couldn't get that done. And now you want me to do, it's like an entitlement, syndrome almost, but people really do, and that's why I feel like some people like feel like they have to be tough because it's like, oh, well, if I'm not, then they'll, like you said, they're just gonna just abuse it. And so it leaves like, and especially if a leader has been burned before for something. Yeah. And it's just like, after that, it's like, ain't nobody getting no grace. Ain't nobody. Cause I mean, nowadays people will do a complaint on you just like that, just because, you know, you hurt their feelings. And like, even to have an allegation of that and you got to go through the whole investigation, like that's like a tarnish to your name and, you know, everything that you've done. And to have to go through that legal process and have it hanging over your head, all because somebody is butthurt because you enforced the standard, you know? Yeah. And eventually you're going to screw over the person whose kid is like really sick. Right. Like maybe that's GM1 or whatever. But eventually that's going to happen because you didn't put your guard up because like you said, you've been burned. Stuff like it. And I said it on some previous pod a long time ago, but like we got to connect. Right. Mm-hmm. And I think connecting is like meeting somewhere. Right. Yeah. And like actually, you know, so it takes two to connect. You know, I can't try to connect with you a million times and you can't try to connect with me a million times. Like we have to connect, you know, and those relationships, you know, gotta be better. Right. Or whatever. You know, I talk to a lot of young sellers and it's like, man, you know, they got misconceptions or they got thoughts about certain things or they got things that they don't want to do and things, you know, and it's like, yo, we got to understand that every party involved is a human. Like everybody here is a human, just like you're a human. I'm a human, you know, and I ain't forget that. And you know, me, I ain't forget. I didn't forget when I was an E1, you know, everything I do now is based off of when I was an E1. You know what I mean? Like, that's just the way that I think. You know, I'll never forget that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like, but you got to remember that I was an E1 as well. And we got to kind of meet in the middle. We got to work from there, you know?
Right.
So like you said, I agree with you. I think the consensus is based off the snapshot, the seller would have got some reprieve, right?
Mm-hmm.
Based off the snapshot, like the seller would have been able to get some rest before coming into work based off the snapshot. But however, this shit ain't a snapshot.
Right.
It's a beginning, a middle, and an ending to every situation. And we got to be able to know all of that before we look at snapshots and just make snap decisions. That's my opinion, of course.
Right.
And I know that's your opinion, of course.
And that's how with social media, you always gonna get the middle. And you have everybody in the comments, you know, pointing fingers and, oh, you should do this and you should do that. And, you know, giving their stories. And it's just like, they're not going to tell you, yeah, I do the bare minimum. Like I'm always nowhere to be found. I'm always missing in action. I'm on every dink list. But GMT's not done. Like Chief asked me to do something. I don't want to do it. I question every single thing. Or I don't get it done. I got 50 million counseling chits. That's I
had duty that day. I had duty that day. I had departmental training that day. I had to go to DRB that day. Right. So, yeah. None of that. You just get that one text message screenshot. But I hope all is well between those two. And I do hope they, you know, figure it out and come to some type of thing. And I hope his little girl is, you know, feeling better. And, you know, I hope that wifey's able to sleep and, you know, all of that stuff. Like, all that stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I just thought that was an interesting thing because, like you said, everybody look at the snapshot, but it's way more to that story.
Right. And I hope when he becomes a leader, he's in the same situation. And I wonder what decision he'll make.
Yeah. Damn, yo, we about to roll. But I do that to my sellers a lot. Like when it's one of those situations, I'd be like, yo, what would you do? And they be like, they don't know what they never know. Like, I'd be like, yo, what would you do right now? Be like, yo, you've been late. You've been late for the last 5 Mondays. It's the 6th Monday. What would you do if it was your person? Oh, my person, you know, I'm gonna ask my person, why was they late? What if they say the same thing you said? You know, then they'd be like, well, you know, I let them, you know, and they always, I let them, you know, go. Then I'd be like, what if they be late for that same reason again next week?
Right.
You know, and then, you know, I just play with them like that. And, you know, we kind of get to like some kind of understanding about like, this is a human response. Like, this is how, you know, and a professional response and, you know, whatever. But this is all of this in one.
Right.
You know, I got a question. Well, not really a question, but a shout out to Damon. Yo, David in the Bahamas. I think we spoke about it because this is the second. We did like 2 things today. So I don't know if we talked about it today or the last time. But Damon in the Bahamas chilling, soaking in the sun, man.
Yeah. He out there with
I'm over here sick.
Right. And I'm over here cold in Cali. And he got on some damn thong flip-flops on the beach with a beer in his hand.
Toes out. he got his toes out, living his best life, man. I want to shout out Damon and Ella and his brother. I think it was one of his brother's 50th birthday. So shout out to him and enjoy yourself. Damon need that break, man. He need that time off, man.
He did. You saw how quick he came back after he was like, I've been thinking about dialing in. Yeah, dial in. And he was like, let me think about it.
Look, I'm going to call him. I'm going to see if he answer, yo. I'm going to see if he answer right now. How much time we got? I'm going to see if he answer. I'm going to, what is it, Messenger?
Yeah.
I'm going to do a Messenger call. See if Damon answer. See if he talk about he was going to join the podcast.
Like, he switched up quick. Let me think about it. Like, what?
He answered.
Hey.
Yo.
Oh, y'all call me live?
Oh, there you go. Yes. What up, man?
What's going on, man? What y'all up to, man?
How many Mai Tais you had this morning?
Bro, I done had like 2 mimosas, man. We out here hitting all these little shops up, man. Like, we done hit like every shop up on the island, man.
Yeah.
We out here rolling, man. We rolling out here. What you guys up to, man?
We good, man. We was reading through that text message exchange that I'm sure you wanted to read, but we wanted to get that done before you came back, man.
Oh yeah, no doubt, man.
You know,
that's good, man. Yeah. I'm sure it was nice and heated and the truth, you know.
It was.
We had a good time. It's cool. Yeah, it's cool just partying with Tisha, man. You know, it's a different vibe. You know what I mean, man?
Yeah, I see, man. I see.
We still miss you, though, Damon. We still miss you.
You know, I ain't gonna say that. I ain't gonna say that to you. I ain't gonna say that to you. You have to listen to that.
I'm glad that you said that, you know, because Damo, I don't know, man. I'm glad you said that, though, man. I feel the love in the air, you know.
Yeah. Hey, man. Look, last question. My last question. How many 49ers hats did Bahamas get to see in these last couple of days, man?
Oh, bro, they didn't saw every one of them. I'm talking about, boy. I wore a couple of them. Hey, I wore a couple of them like twice a day, man. Like I hit one in the morning, hit them in the evening with another one, man. I ain't messing around, man. You know, it's always some local fans here too, man. They not a fans around here too, man.
Oh man, hey, bro, we did miss you this week, though.
Most definitely, man. You know, I can't wait to get back, man. I'm gonna be ready, man.
Look, he said he miss us. He heard that pause. It was we miss you. He was like, oh, okay.
What pause?
He was like, oh, okay. I'll be back when I get back.
He's
drunk right now.
I miss you guys too, man.
He's drunk right now.
Oh my goodness.
Hey,
man.
tell Ella we love her. Enjoy yourselves, man. We catch up with you, bro.
Most definitely, man. Love you guys too, man. Hey, I'll let y'all be back next week, man. Let's do it.
All right. What, next week? You gonna be like, I talked to y'all?
I'm gonna put that picture of him on the beach, man.
Yes.
It's gonna be like the little picture of him, like while he talking to us. But look, Tish, you too. Have a good day.
You too.
Yeah, have a good day. Have a good one. And we'll be back here next week. We love y'all.
All right. Holla.